12,000 new homes BTO will be coming soon, and what does it mean for your HDB? And if you're a HDB owner today, there's a new shock of supply of BTO that will be coming. Should you start planning for your exit plan, because these BTOs may affect your HDB prices and you in the long run? Hello everyone, I'm Tean, and in today's video I'll be sharing with you more about the HDB supply and how it might affect you if you're a HDB owner today. If you haven't done so, help me to like, share and subscribe, and also a Telegram channel you can keep yourself updated about the latest property news. Just scan this QR code and you can actually enter to get the latest update about the property market. So on May 10, 2025, the government actually announced that they'll rezone housing across different 11 areas. So there'll be 12,000 new home supplies that will be upcoming for these areas. Likelihood these areas will be zoned for BTOs or if not condo development, so that there will be actually more supplies, and this supply will actually cover demand for these 11 areas because these 11 areas are actually much more popular and located at a better location. So what I will do is to summarize the article shared earlier and also answer some of the burning questions how this 12,000 supply might affect you as an owner when it hits the market, and if currently you are owner of a HDB, how will these new BTO supplies to the market actually affect you, and what should you do, and how can you use this crisis to turn it into opportunity in today's market. So what should you do as a buyer or seller if you know that there are 12,000 new supplies that are coming into the market today? So to summarize this article, there will be 12,000 new homes across 11 areas, and these 11 areas actually includes the Toa Payoh, Tampines, Bedok, Pasir Ris, Tengah, and also the former golf course area, and you create 12,000 new homes for both private and also the public. So this will actually help to moderate both the private and also the public, not just the BTOs. And this is to moderate the supply in the more popular and established market because the government continues to see strong demands in new homes in these prime locations. That's why there is rezone in these 11 areas and creating 12,000 more new homes. To summarize, these are the locations as mentioned before: Keppel Golf, Toa Payoh, Tampines, Pasir Ris, Bedok, and the Upper Thomson area. These are all the different land parcels. Whether it will be a private or public home, this will be actually released by the government when they are ready. But the reason for government increasing this supply of 12,000 is actually working the same for both the private and public, because the main aim here is to moderate the demand for the more prime areas. So here are the burning questions that you might have, because this 12,000 new supply will actually affect your property in terms of the demand supply, and economics terms, demand supply will eventually affect the pricing and the valuation of your house. So the first question that I have here is, what will happen to my flat value when the 12,000 new homes hits into the market? So generally, if your flat is actually much more older and the lease is actually shorter, then this effect will actually be stronger for you, because when there are more new units that are actually released closer to your home, that's when your homes have lesser demand, because the newer flats are much more modern, and the newer flats will have more demands because there is lesser cost in terms of the renovation, and right now the buyers have more choice in terms of their selection of units. So generally, after these 12,000 new homes are actually released, buyers will prefer the more newer developments because they are much more newer and lesser renovation is needed, and also their lease is starting fresh from 99 years. Particularly, the aim of having more new supplies is to cool off the demand for the prime locations. So when there are more new units from this 12,000, that might be more intense competition in terms of the pricing for the ones that are nearer to this area. So if your house is nearer to the areas which I mentioned earlier in the previous slide, then you might want to consider what's the next step for you, because this 12,000 new units will be releasing shortly, whether is it a BTO or a new launch in the market itself. So the next question here is my HDB flat or my condo at a risk of being undercut by the new BTO supply or the new supply of 12,000 new homes? The answer is yes, because if your flat is much more older at an older lease, even though the location have its advantage, but given that the lease is shorter, buyers might have preference towards a newer home, and also they might be willing to wait 3 to 5 years because the new homes will allow them to have a better price appreciation in the future, and also at the same time, if it is a BTO, then they can actually enter at a lower price for a prime location, and that's why having 12,000 new homes at this location might put your flat at a risk, and you should be thinking whether you can do anything to reduce your lease and how longer is your lease currently left. So if you're a HDB owner or if you're a condo owner today, how can you actually turn this increased supply of 12,000 into an opportunity instead of a threat? If you are already sitting on paper profit and you are also having shorter lease left, then that's when you should consider, as I mentioned earlier, because lease decaying will also mean that next time your house will take longer to sell, or you might not be able to get the price that you are also getting today. And also you might want to reposition yourself, because right now we might be at a price peak. With more supply, the price might start to drop, and that's when you know that the price will start to drop and your price will not be as good as before. So you need to stay ahead in terms of the lease decay and also upgrade when you have the chance to upgrade at the moment. So think about your current property, how much is the valuation, is it a chance for you to upgrade? Likelihood, yes. Turn this into opportunity and you need to talk to a trusted advisor. So these are the 5 golden rules of property investment that I always share with all my clients. I also share in the other videos. So mainly for this increased new supply, you need to buy and plan for the future and not just the present. If you know that the news, I've already shared that there will be new supplies in these areas such as the former Capital Golf Course, Toa Payoh, Tampines Street 11, Pasir Ris Drive 3, Pasir Ris Drive 10, Bedok South Road and the Upper Thomson Road. You really need to plan how you should do the next steps for your current housing. And if you haven't already purchased and you are looking into all these supplies, that's where you can start to save and also consider your financial funds so that you can actually purchase when these plots or lands are released to the public. So the main thing I want to share with you here is that because there is a new 12,000 supply of new homes, whether is it public housing or private housing, you need to be patient and be strategic. Plan how you can actually maximize this new supply to your advantage. And also remember to start young, decide based on your timeline, whether is it a BTO or a private new launch, think how much affordability can you afford. Also, if is it worth for you to consider the newer homes or go for a resale market if you cannot wait for these new supplies to come into the market, because for new supplies generally it will take 3 to 5 years for them to be built before you can actually move in. And for sellers, whether is it HDB or private owners, do act sooner than later, because if you're holding to sell your flat, as mentioned earlier, the lease decay is actually starting. The longer your lease, the less attractive your house is because there are much more new supplies, and generally buyers will swing towards the newer homes because they feel more comfortable and the renovation is also lesser. So this might be your last strong window before the market softens to get your price and capitalize on your current high earnings and profits, because when you're waiting, your demand for your house might actually start to drop, especially when you're in a mature area, and all these 12,000 are in the mature areas of Singapore. If you're a HDB owner, consider if you want to upgrade to an executive condo while the resale prices are healthy. And if you are also a private condo, consider if you want to upsize by having 1 more bedroom, or also consider if you want to change the location to a much more prime location. So this comes to the end of my video. Having a 12,000 new supply in the market actually will affect you, because the new supply will create less demand for the properties that are having more lease decays, and generally new supply will be more attractive in terms of the price because of a longer lease, and also there's less renovation needed. So it might affect you depending on the location and also your lease duration and also your financial factors. So these are the things that you need to consider. If you have any more questions, feel free to contact me on my phone number 9431 4533, or you can also contact me via my social medias over here on the top left side. So this comes to the end of my video. Please do something because there's new supply and the market might change very soon. And thank you so much. So bye bye.